Hello, wonderful partners. I so wish I could be there with you tonight, but COVID has struck again. However, I'm feeling okay. We're social distancing for this video. I have great medication, and I have an incredible team who's going to make tonight memorable for you. But I had to share a few things. First of all, we've had some incredible victories with the Texas heartbeat bill. As of September 1st, abortion is prohibited after a heartbeat is detected. I wish I could tell you all the details, but how is this for a victory? This bill is estimated to save 200 babies a day. Aren't you blessed to live in Texas? But the fight isn't over, not by a long shot. In fact, we've kind of shook the hornet's nest and they are mad. So we have to fight even harder and smarter. But we know that we're fighting with our God behind us. But I get ahead of myself because some of you might not know Real Options, and I want you to know the magnitude of services that we provide. Our mission is simple: to save lives on earth and for eternity. We provide all of these services absolutely free of charge, including sonograms, our 180 degrees abstinence program, and our abortion recovery groups. That's a lot of work, but the rewards are big. Our theme verse tonight is from Psalms 127, 3-4, and it reads, "Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are children born in one's youth." And there's no better way to share heritage with you than to share the stories of our incredibly brave clients. I first want to introduce you to Alexis. Alexis came to us scared because she was pregnant and her mother was pressuring her to have an abortion because her mom was already taking care of 2 of Alexis's children. But Alexis came to us, heard the message that God was going to provide for her. So she chose life, and I want you to introduce you to beautiful daughter, Ivy Grace. She is now 7 months old, and Alexis has told us that Real Options has stepped in to be her family. She's also receiving ongoing counseling through our wonderful partnership with Myers Clinics. You know, it's beautiful to celebrate a woman who chooses life, but sometimes a woman believes the lies and chooses abortion. That's why we have our ROAR program. ROAR stands for Real Options Abortion Recovery. We rebranded a few years ago when the abortion industry started a social media campaign called #ShoutYourAbortion. They were trying to normalize the death of children. Well, they may shout about the sin, but we are going to roar about the redemption. And there is no one roaring louder than my friend Sharita. I want to tell you a little bit about her story. Sharita and her husband were in leadership at their church. During that time, Sharita began an affair with another man. They got pregnant, and in order to hide the sin, they had an abortion. However, the affair came to light. Her and the man, Jerome, went before the church and confessed their sin and asked for forgiveness. Well, Sharita's marriage ended in divorce. But years later, through God's redemption and forgiveness, Sharita and Jerome got married. However, they had never dealt with the abortion until Sharita found ROAR. She went through the 10-week Bible study and came out with the confidence that she was truly forgiven and set free, and she's now sharing that with others. I also want to introduce you to Sharika. Sharika already had 6 children, and she was terrified because during one of her pregnancies, she had severe postpartum, and in her last delivery, she actually coded on the table. Sharika was actually scared of dying if she continued this pregnancy. But we prayed with her and helped her to understand that God was with her and God would provide for all of her needs. He did just that through one of our partnerships with our church. We were able to throw her a baby shower and provide all of the things. We were able to connect her to One by One Ministries that provided a mentor for her. Sharika now says her mentor is one of her best friends. And here is baby Legend with his beaming older siblings. See, heritage doesn't just affect that baby, but the parents, the grandparents, and the siblings. And these amazing siblings would have lost their baby brother had it not been for Real Options. I love to talk about life stories, but there's nothing sweeter than introducing someone to the love of Jesus Christ. And now I want to tell you about Deanna. Deanna came to Real Options and met with one of our volunteers, Cindy. Cindy shared the gospel, and Deanna rededicated her life to Christ. One day later, they were out having coffee, and a pastor overheard them and came over. He was from Sent Church. He prayed with them and invited Deanna to church. she came and she joined. She went home to tell her son about it and invited him to church. He then joined her, heard the gospel, and he accepted Jesus. He then went home and pestered his best friend to come to church with him. Well, after a while, his best friend relented and came. He heard the gospel, and he too accepted Jesus as his Savior. Then months later, Cindy and our staff member Renata had the honor of seeing Deanna, her son, and her son's friend all baptized on the same day. Now, I know I could have listed our statistics earlier, but they mean so much more when names are attached to them. These numbers represent women like Sharika, Deanna, Alexis, and Sharita. Last year in 2020, we saw 587 clients. 51% of them changed their minds for life, which meant 147 babies were saved from abortion. 171 women received post-abortion counsel. Over 10,000 students were reached through our 180 program during 576 presentations. We were able to share the gospel 363 times and had 73 accept Jesus. Are you excited yet? You should be, because I have a big surprise. At the end of last year, I felt like the Lord gave me a vision for 2021, which was to expand outside our walls. Well, then He provided incredible donors that allowed us to raise money for a portable sonogram machine, and then our board in faith hired another sonographer. And then, months later, Pastor Dustin from Church 1132 came to us and shared their incredible vision of opening the Dallas Dream Center. This Dream Center would house a multitude of ministries that would impact the community of Oak Cliff, and they asked us to partner with them. So we are hoping to open another satellite of Real Options at the Dallas Dream Center. While we were there, we knew that the building would take a while, and I was looking out over the parking lot, and the Holy Spirit pricked my heart and said, if you had a mobile unit, you could start saving lives now. Well, the very next day, we found out another pregnancy center was selling their mobile unit. So I would like you to meet Zoe, which means life in Greek. I'm certain you saw her on your way in, but Zoe is completely outfitted to do all of our services. Life-affirming coaching in the front and sonos in the back, and we can even speak to the fathers outside under the canopy. And what did we need? A portable sonogram machine and trained nurses, which God had already provided. But this was still a huge investment, and we didn't know where the money was going to come from, but God was working on that too. Because Pastor Dustin and Church 1132 so saw the vision of Zoe, and not just to use her at the Dallas Dream Center, but to use her in underserved communities all over, that they gave us a gift of half of the unit cost. And then we had an amazing family who sacrificially had been saving in order to give a huge gift to the kingdom. They didn't even know about Zoe, but when I told them, they walked in, gave me a check, and that finished paying her off. So Zoe is completely paid for. We also needed a staff member to help with this initiative, and one of our amazing volunteers stepped up. Linda Haggard is actually donating all of her time in order to fill that position. And I also want to give a huge thanks to Mark at 22 Brands and Richard at PTG Extreme for helping us with the wrap of Zoe. Because of them, we are able to have a huge rolling billboard for life. But we also still need a few things. We need drivers with large vehicle experience. You don't have to have a CDL though. We need a mechanic for general maintenance. We need more medical volunteers to train in sonography. We also need more patient advocates to provide life-affirming coaching, and we do have a training coming up for that. We're also offering free tours of Zoe, so if you're interested in that or becoming a volunteer or any of these services, please see the tables at the back. I also want to come back to the battle that I was referring to in the beginning, because the Texas heartbeat bill was such a victory. The other side has gotten angry. And you might not be aware, but the first ever abortion clinic has opened in Collin County, and it is in our own backyard. It's in McKinney. And now, in response to the heartbeat bill, the McKinney Abortion Clinic and some of the Dallas abortion clinics are offering free abortions, and they're even offering to pay for women to go out of state for late-term abortions. Now, we're not afraid because our God has the victory, but we do have to be prepared. And we're going to do that in three ways. We're going to be prepared, we're going to be first, and we're going to be the best. We want to get our 180 Degrees team in front of more young people in order to reduce the number of unexpected pregnancies. This one is easy and free. If you know of a school or a church where they can present, please go to the 180 table. But we also want to be that woman's first call. If she needs help, we want her to find us instead of the abortion clinic. We plan on doing that by expanding our geofencing. Now, this is a complex thing, but I want to try to give you a bird's eye view. Think of this. We put a digital fence around the McKinney abortion clinic. When a woman walks through, her IP address is connected, and when she goes to an app in her phone or a browser, she starts seeing ads from Real Options. These ads say things like, "You do have options. You're not alone. Let us help you." She clicks on that ad and gets redirected to our phone number and calls. She then gets connected to our incredible Christy, who loves her and cares for her and invites her to come to Real Options. She gets up out of that seat, walks out the door, walks to her car, and goes to Real Options, walks through our doors into the life-saving message of Jesus. Has that happened? Yes, it has. It actually happened at the Plano Planned Parenthood, and we want it to happen in McKinney too. But we also want a geofence around schools and colleges, and the potential is endless. We also want to put Zoe in the same parking lot as the McKinney abortion clinic. We are in hopes that someone might know the owner so we can get permission. If you're able to help with that in any way, please stop by the Zoe table. All of these things will add up to about $56,000, which is on top of what we normally need to raise at our banquet. But God is already doing that as well. We have an incredibly generous couple who has issued a challenge. For anyone who gives $2,000 or more, it will be matched dollar for dollar up to $50,000, which means your gift will be doubled. And in addition, we have an even sweeter challenge. Whoever gives a $10,000 gift tonight, this donor will give $2 for every $1. So that $10,000 gift will turn into $30,000. The enemy may have changed their tactics, but we're changing too, and that does take extra funds. So I'm asking you to dig deep tonight, to be sacrificial tonight. Give like lives depend on it, because they do. But heritage is worth fighting for, and we're asking you to join that fight for us, because heritage is awaiting you.